No, this can't be. I just couldn't believe the harsh reality in front of me. The man I loved was cheating on me, and to make it even worse, it was with my sister. And she wasn't just any sister, she was my twin. While I'd always felt like the underdog compared to her, when he proposed, I thought things might be different. But even in marriage, I was still playing second fiddle to her. How was I supposed to deal with this double betrayal? Feeling completely alone, I made my way back to my parents' house. "What's going on?" my mom questioned. I poured my heart out, anxiously wondering where she'd stand, but her reaction caught me off guard. "I'm Lisa, a 29-year-old working for a top financial firm. Throughout school, I was the studious type, more focused on books than boys. Maybe it was because of my fear of getting too attached. And there's a reason for that fear. My twin, Lexi, looks exactly like me. Apart from a tiny mole, we're nearly impossible to tell apart. But personality-wise, we're day and night. I'm more reserved, while Lexi's always been the life of the party. She's never had a shortage of romantic interest, dating back to middle school. My apprehension about dating likely stems from her. I once confided in her about a crush, and while she pretended to be supportive, she swooped in and dated him herself. How could you? You knew how I felt about him. I confronted her, heartbroken, but instead of feeling sorry, she just smirked. Yeah, but I ended up liking him too. Can't help it. Seriously? After knowing how I felt? That's so messed up. Honestly, get over it. He liked me more, that's all. That's all? How could you be so cold? Don't you have anything to say to me? Like what? Apologize? Why would I? I'm with him because of me. You should have made your move before he fell for me. I was speechless. Sure, I had only told Lexi I liked the guy and didn't ask her to help or to keep her distance. As much as I wanted to blame her, part of it was on me. She saw an opportunity and took it. That's all. Even if it felt unfair, it was the truth. Maybe if I had been braver, things would have been different. After that, I guarded my heart, afraid of another heartbreak, especially if Lexi was involved. So I never got too close to anyone, resigning myself to the idea of being single forever. But a couple of years ago, things changed. One night at my regular bar, a guy named Steve approached me. He mentioned he'd seen me there before and had been hoping to chat. I was pretty clueless about dating, but his sincerity shone through, and before I knew it, we were in a relationship. A year later, we got engaged, but in the back of my mind, I couldn't shake the fear. What if he met Lexi and fell for her charms? But all that anxiety was for nothing. He looked me in the eyes and said, "Fall for your sister? No chance. It's you I love, Lisa." But everyone always picks her over me. Aw, is that so? Well, maybe she's a tad more outgoing. Right? That's why I worried you'd be drawn to her. I love you for you. Sure, you two might look alike, but you're unique. I chose you, Lisa. Those words melted my heart. I couldn't help but cry, and he held me tight. My mom was beyond ecstatic about the wedding. She'd always been my rock, always telling me you're beautiful, especially during my low moments. After my dad's passing and both Lexi and I moving out for work, we hadn't been in touch with her much. So sharing my wedding news was such a joy. The only dark cloud was Lexi. During our visit home, she was a storm of resentment. Maybe she was bitter about me getting married first. While Mom and Steve chatted away, Lexi cornered me. Don't think you've won. He'll get bored of you soon. Hurt? I asked. Why the bitterness? He really loves me and... Sure, who'd want you really? Just enjoy it while it lasts. Good luck. As hurtful as she was, a part of me wondered if she had a point. Flash forward, nearly a year into our marriage, and things had changed. The caring Steve had grown distant. He'd been working late and our chats had dwindled, especially as our anniversary loomed. Trying to reconnect, I mentioned, wouldn't it be nice to have dinner together sometime? But he just shot back. Now? When work's crazy? We've just been so distant lately, so I just thought that maybe we could... I'm drowning in work.
Must be nice to clock out on time.
I'm sorry. Little things began to stand out, like how he went from calling me honey to just Lisa, but the biggest blow was yet to come. On my day off, while cleaning the house, Steve's tablet caught my eye. Then I saw something unbelievable. No, this can't be. A notification popped up showing a photo of him and Lexi. Panic welled up as I swiped the tablet open. No password. What I found was a slew of messages and pictures, undeniable proof of their affair. I was gutted. Cheated on with my own sister? He had promised. He said he wouldn't fall for her. He said he picked me. But I couldn't just bury this. Maybe if we talked and he was truly sorry, we could find a way back. I steeled myself to confront him that evening. When he finally walked in, he seemed taken aback to find me waiting.
You're still up?
He muttered, trying to walk past. I blocked his way and blurted, "You've been seeing Lexi behind my back, haven't you? What's up with that?"
Huh? What are you talking about?
Come on, I stumbled upon your tablet today. The jig is up.
You shouldn't snoop. But since you know, yeah, I've been seeing her.
His confession hit me hard, but then he added,
For the record, I was with Lexi before you came into the picture.
I was stunned. What's that supposed to mean?
I was actually dating her first, but she had a bunch of debt. Once I realized you had a stable job, I thought, why not marry you and use the money to help her out?
Wait, what? So the cash I've been handing over for household expenses?
Yeah, I might have exaggerated a bit and skimmed some off the top. Thanks to you, Lexi got a good chunk of change.
I felt like the floor had been pulled out from under me. He'd only used me to pay off Lexi's debt. When we first got hitched, he took charge of our finances. Every time he'd ask, I'd just transfer money to our joint account, clueless that he was funneling it to Lexi. Then he shoved some divorce papers in my face.
Now that you're in the loop, I don't need you. I'm going back to Lexi.
My heart shattered. What was I going to do? Heartbroken and overwhelmed, I signed the papers and went straight to my childhood home. Answering the doorbell, my mom's face showed a mix of shock and concern. "What's going on?" she inquired. I poured my heart out, wondering if she'd be on my side. As I shared my story, she just nodded and then, to my shock, said, "Well, good riddance." Wait, good riddance? Yeah, better off without a guy like that. Mom, he betrayed me with my own sister. And that's why it's good he's out of your life. It's not that simple. I feel so used. She pulled me into a hug and whispered, "It'll be okay. I got this." I was drained and didn't push for answers. But 2 days later, Steve and Lexi, thanks to my mom's summons, walked in. I didn't want to face them, but there I was, staring them down. They shot me smug grins and I wanted to run. Breaking the tense silence, my mom chirped, "So, Lexi, you and Steve are tying the knot?" Lexi replied, almost gloating, "You knew? Yes, he was mine first anyway. We're just a better fit, don't you think?" Without missing a beat, my mom responded, "Oh, for sure. 2 peas in a trashy pod." Lexi looked stunned. Then my mom handed them a paper. A shaky Lexi read, "Compensation to Lisa for $90,000. What? That's way too much." "Is it? After everything you did? Do you want this to go to court?" "Court? Mom, that's a bit extreme, don't you think? I'm your daughter. Why would you want to hurt me like this?" "Hurt you? Think about what you two have done to Lisa. How could you both exploit my trusting daughter like that?" "Lisa's always played the victim. You've always favored me, right, Mom?" As she tried to touch Mom, she swiftly moved away, her eyes sharp with anger. "Cut the act. I can't even look at you right now." "What are you talking about, Mom?" "Remember the $90,000 you borrowed from Dad? You signed for it. You didn't forget, did you?" "I remember borrowing from Dad, but he's gone now." I was taken aback. Lexi had taken a significant amount from our father, and I was in the dark about it. The total had risen to a whopping $90,000. Was this the debt Steve had mentioned? As the conversation continued, my mom spoke up. You think Dad's passing means you're off the hook? I'm his inheritor. That debt's on you to pay to me. I wasn't aware of this. I can't just... Mom interrupted. I'd hoped you'd eventually repay it, but now I don't even recognize you. You need to settle that debt now. Hold on, Mom. Can't we? You've put it off for too long. Either pay up or I'll see you in court. You can't be serious. There's no way. Despite her pleas, Mom stood her ground. Steve, who had been listening, interjected.
Wait, Lexi, you owe money to your dad too?
What's it to you? She snapped.
What about all the cash I've been sending you? You've used some of it to pay back, right?
Not exactly.
You didn't just blow through everything I gave you, did you?
It turned out that Lexi had not been using the money I had given to Steve to pay off her debt, but rather for her personal enjoyment. Her debt kept mounting. Steve, now looking worried, turned to me.
I didn't realize this about her. Forget about marrying her. Lisa, maybe we can work things out?
I was taken aback by his audacity. Gathering my thoughts, I responded sharply. Are you kidding me? I never want anything to do with you again. Just be ready to pay up.
Really? I'm trying to make amends here.
The decision's mine to make. I won't ever forgive either of you. I'll make sure you both face the consequences. Steve and Lexi looked shaken. They tried to apologize again, but I wasn't having any of it. Fearing legal action, they both signed the documents my mom prepared. Because of this, they each owed me $75,000. Ultimately, I broke ties with them and, to my benefit, ended up with a considerable sum. Steve and Lexi never ended up together and even split up. She was deep in debt and was cut out from any family inheritance. Steve, after all the money he'd given her, was nearly penniless. They're likely to be paying off their dues for quite some time, but I have zero pity for them. They brought it upon themselves. I owe my ability to move forward to my mom's unwavering support. Now I'm living solo in an apartment close to work. My mom often stops by and we enjoy meals out together. I'm forever thankful to her and hope to show her my gratitude in the years to come.